How do you walk with God? How do you walk with God? Like Christians, we use this phrase a lot. Like, hey, this week just walk with the Lord. What's that mean? What does faith look like? Do I just sit around and wait for God to pick me up and start moving me? I have to go to work. I have to live my life. But how do I know if I'm living my life? Am I walking with God? It's very easy for me, and probably for you, on this Monday, Daily Dosers, to separate spiritual and physical. I can believe in a God. I can put my faith in a God. But I have to do this life. How do those come together? In Joshua chapter 1, we get a template for how this works. How does it work? Moses is dead. The new guy, Joshua, is leading Israel. Tomorrow, I'm going to let Kip, our campus pastor at Carlsbad, explain where we are in the story, why we've gone from Exodus to Joshua. Let me just give you chapter 1 in a flyby and watch what walking with, being with God looks like. Because there may be a lot more about what we have to do than we originally think. Joshua 1:1. I got to go quick because we only got, 4 minutes left. After the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord said to Joshua, son of Nun, Moses' aide, Moses, my servant, is dead. Now then, you and all these people get ready to cross the Jordan River into the land I am about to give them to the Israelites. I will give you every place that you set your foot. As I promised Moses, your territory will extend from the desert of Lebanon all the way to the great river Euphrates, all of the Hittite country, all the way to the great sea on the west. No one will be able to stand up against you all of your days of your life. Now listen, as I was with Moses, I will be with you. I will never leave you. I will never forsake you. Be strong and courageous, because you will lead these people to inherit the land I swore to their forefather to give them. Be strong and very courageous. Be careful to obey all the law my servant Moses gave you. Do not turn from it to the left or to the right, that you may be successful wherever you go. Do not let this book of the law depart from your mouth. Meditate on it, think on it day and night, so that you may be careful to do everything written in it. Then you will be prosperous and successful. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and very courageous. Do not be terrified. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. It's a very famous part of Joshua, maybe the most famous part of the book of Joshua, this be strong and courageous. My daughter has it tattooed right here in my handwriting on her arm, because as young teenagers, as freshmen, her and her small group heard one of our youth pastors do a whole talk on be strong and courageous, and they got together and they each went around the circle and said what they're going to be strong and courageous, and through their entire teenage years, now into their young adult years, they've held on to that, so that's been her little insignia. But how do you do it? How do you walk with God? And here's what God told Joshua. I have a plan for you. It is a specific plan. It's not a pie in the sky, fingers crossed. Well, I know God's out there. And God said, no, look, I'll even give you the borders and the boundaries of the land that I'm going to give you. Every place you set your foot, I will give you. And yet we turn to the rest of chapter 1. You're going to have to fight for it. You're going to have to work for it. You're going to have to take your army, and the very first thing you're going to come across is Jericho. It's going to take a lot of work on your end. But listen, be strong and courageous, strong and courageous, strong and courageous. In what? In what you do and what you're called to do, in your strengths? No. Be strong and courageous that I am with you. I have a plan. That plan is a promise that has very specific borders on it. I know what I want to do with your life. Your strength and courage, your boldness is in the God that is with you, not in what you're doing. Well, how do I know what I'm doing is right? Because you've got my book of the law. You are thinking about it day and night. You are living your life grounded by the word of God. Now, what he says is you've got to lead, you've got to fight, you've got to move, you've got to instruct people. You're going to use your gifts. You're going to use your 60 hours a week, 70 hours a week. You're going to use your strength and your skill set grounded in, rooted in who God is, how he made you, and what he made you to do. And because you're moving in who you are in him and what he's called you to do, that's where your strength and boldness is going to come from. Be strong and courageous. Why? This life is tough. It's going to be hard. It's going to be tricky. Your strength and courage is not in you and what you're doing. It's in the God that's with you and what he's called you to do. And now you move, because you're moving with him as a foundation and him with you. And this is how we work with God. I got to know the word. I got to know what he's called me to do. What's it mean to be a Christian? And I walk with Christ. Now use your gifts, times, talents, but you aren't your strength. You aren't your hope. You aren't your boldness. He is. And you walk with God, and you're amazed at where he takes you and what he does in you and through you. Let's go.